All right, here we go. So welcome everyone to the call. That's still loading. Dun, 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 dun. It says we're live, but it's not showing we're live. Check one, check two. Okay, we are there. Fantastic. Hello everyone. My name is Justin Phillips, and I want to welcome you to our interview today with the incredible Jost Sawyer, aka the Lifestyle Medicine Man. Thank you so much for joining us on the call. Before we get started, just a bit of housekeeping. My name is Justin Phillips. My wife, Nicole Dennis, and I live in beautiful Bribie Island, Queensland, and we're very passionate about empowering people with health, happiness, and prosperity, and sharing the extraordinary life lessons and experiences we have learned. And one of those is, of course, the amazing Jost Sawyer. Before we get started, I just ask for your cooperation. Please do not record the call or not to share it to mass media or social media sites. I have muted you all to keep the background noise to a minimum. But we are recording the call, and that is going in the Facebook group, Renew with Redox. So if you're not in that group, please ask the person that invited you to watch this call or to watch the replay to invite you into the Renew with Redox group if you would like to see the replays or learn more about the incredible Redox technology. It's just one of the many things that we talk about during these calls. Also, I do encourage you to please use the comments section and ask questions and put comments in there. Hello from Mooloolaba, Nikki and Trish. Thank you. Oh, hello, Trish from Melbourne. That's great. Yeah, that sort of thing is great. We love to have some engagement, find out what you guys want to talk about, any questions you have, and of course, lay some love on our amazing speaker for today. Okay, and we'll do some Q&As as well. All through it. So please put those questions in the chat box. If you're on the Facebook Live and you want to come over to the Zoom, I'll pop in the link there so you can join us on the live interaction. All right, so I had some health challenges for 25 years, and so did my wife for 20 years, and we had to go through a lot of different experiences and learning to overcome that. Thankfully, we did. And Jost, the amazing Jost Sawyer, was one of those incredible pieces of the puzzle to help me understand life in a broader context. And Jost, to me, has the greatest perception and big picture view of how to incorporate and integrate the philosophy of traditional Chinese medicine, which is thousands and thousands of years old, into our life. And hence he is called the Lifestyle Medicine Man. So Jost was born in 1958 in Germany. Jost is a doctor of Chinese medicine, has been working as a therapist since 1991, and lectured in Chinese medicine for 10 years. I actually met Jost when he was a supervisor of the acupuncture clinic at the Australian College of Natural Medicine, which at the time was considered to be the greatest acupuncture college in the Southern Hemisphere. Jost has worked all over the world. I worked with celebrity clients from all over the world and operated many health centres and retreats and so forth. And health and fitness has always been a major passion for Jost. His background includes competitive national level snow skiing, bodybuilding, triathlon, Ironman training. But when Jost discovered Kung Fu and Tai Chi, he realized that fitness is only part of the equation and vitality is the other. And this led to decades more research into how to live and how to use nutritional supplements, an optimal diet, therapeutic exercise, weightlifting, martial arts, meditation, Tai Chi, redox signaling molecules, yoga, all to make you feel good. And when Jost added the 24-hour movement of Qi, a kind of Chinese medicine version of the body clock that connects our day-to-day activities to the natural cycles, which you can read all about in his latest book, which is amazing, he developed the Qi cycle lifestyle. And this is the ultimate in lifestyle medicine. It's founded on thousands of years of Chinese medicine with over 30 years of Jost's academic research and practical observations from living it. Jost is a high media profile and a regular contributor to many health and lifestyle magazines, and also an author of many groundbreaking books, including Higher and Higher, Drug Repair That Works, The Perfect Day Plan, Clock Onto Health, his latest one, which is awesome. Welcome to the call, Jost. Good morning. How are you today? I'm just trying to unmute you there. Let's click the, what's it got? Yay! Good morning.
I unmuted myself. Wow.
I think I muted you and you unmuted yourself, and we were both clicking the same button. Hi, mate.
Yeah.
Hey, how things going for you this week?
No, yeah, it's like every day, like a new discovery of a new world order and all kinds of directions. So
That's right.
I'm living in very interesting times, and the mega trends towards health are profound.
Yeah.
It's just essentially everywhere. Now, wherever you look, it's just okay. or we can't do anything about this virus thing anymore. It's going to spread. What we can build our health. And the fact is now, when you look at Japan, the statistic of Japan versus America, and because they got no death rates there in Japan at the moment. So, but they got 3% or 6% obesity, whereas in America it's 40%.
Yeah.
So you can really see that it's like there's a health factor involved. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And people will get reinfected due to health factors. People will can't get affected once again because of health factors. So we really are for me, it's like a sign that like COVID shows what we need to look at, and that's what we're facing now. So we've got to look at all kind of health, and sexuality is a major aspect in that regard.
Absolutely, it's a great motivator. Just ask half the population.
Yeah, I mean it's true. Yeah, but you can be very tired and completely not motivated. As soon as you get sexually aroused, suddenly there's energy available. Suddenly you want to do things, and suddenly you want to engage and advance. So in Chinese medicine, as we talked last week about it, obviously this time I want to get more into depths of that, what it really means in terms of how to develop all these principles and actually make it more practical. Because in Chinese medicine, sex is a drive. As I said last week, we can't control a drive. We can't say tomorrow I won't get thirsty, but I can say I won't drink tomorrow. I can't say tomorrow I won't get hungry, but I can say tomorrow I won't eat. The same applies to sex. I can't say tomorrow I won't get horny, but you can say I won't have sex. So there's a big thing going on here that we got no control over, and it's regulating our life in every aspect. And if we don't get the right education in place, it's going to cause havoc in our life. And that's where Chinese medicine already looks into the fact that it's women and men both are affected by lack of sex. Whereas in women, it's, according to Chinese medicine, to women, it's lack of sex and sexual frustration, which is the major cause of stress. In man, it's unsatisfying or inappropriate sex that leads to a major stress in life. So we got that drive within us, we got that force, we need to understand how to work with it. And I want to address a few points about it today. And in particular, I want to get into what it really means in terms of relationship, the purpose of relationship, in particular, what is soulmate relationship from a Chinese medicine perspective, and then also take it how Chinese medicine makes the connection between spirituality and sexuality. So there are three areas that we need to look into.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So when it comes to why, like, it is such a major cause of frustration in both men and women, and what it's causing, it's a heat pattern in Chinese medicine. So a lack of sex causes heat patterns. Inappropriate sex causes heat pattern, whereas in females, it's more the lack of sex. In males, it's the inappropriate sex. But the heat patterns then lead to Qi stagnation, and Qi stagnation leads to inappropriate behavior patterns. And by the time we have behavior patterns established and they're on the surface, we can't make the connection to the original source of it. And so it all comes down to the drives. So if we understand how to work with the drives right from the start, we have the ability to get on top of it before it becomes an issue. Yes. And when it comes to sexuality, the most complex drive, it depends on connection. So in Chinese medicine, without connection, there is no qi. Without connection, there is no sex.
Yeah.
So this applies to males and females, and that applies to even if you have a partner or don't have a partner. It's a connection which is the key element here. And that's from yin to yang, from yang to yin. And from then it goes into the cosmic qi, etc. So that then establishing a connection is the vital element in order to have healthy sexuality and well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't get away from the drive. We can't say, I don't want sex. I don't need sex. I'm over sex. It's like saying, I don't want to drink. I don't want to be thirsty anymore. I don't want to be hungry anymore. I'm over being hungry.
Yep. Yep.
It's like
Yeah.
we
You can't get away from it.
Yeah, you can't get away from it.
Last week you talked about how so many of your clients, so many men, were so frustrated with it that they said, "I wish I could just cut it off."
Yeah,
Which is sad, but that's quite common.
Yeah, it's because you got no choice over you. You didn't ask when you were born. You didn't ask to the universe, please give me sex drive. Yeah, it was given to you. So.
Yeah, that's right.
So Chinese medicine has got lots of observation with nuns 1,000 years ago, with monks, and they realized that, okay, if you don't harness that drive effectively, it will cause all kind of problems. Mm-hmm. And so therefore in Chinese medicine, the focus always has been on education. Sex means it needs education. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. So if we don't educate about sex in schools, if we don't educate about sex openly, we will always have a problem of that will keep bringing up issues. It's a reoccurring problem.
Yeah, and ironically, I've been learning, watching videos and like learning a bit about China at the moment because it's such a big hot topic. And apparently, like, even though this wisdom, traditional Chinese medicine, came from China, at the moment they're sort of going through a big period where they don't really do sex education in school at all. A lot of young girls are coming out of school not knowing even like how reproduction works, and I'm sure that's not for the whole of China, but just some of the stuff that I've been seeing, it's pretty common. And then they've got a whole lot of dysfunctional sexual relationships. Like some crazy statistics, 60% of relationships weren't monogamous or something. So yeah, and these are marriages. These are, so yeah. And I think if you put it in the cupboard and you hide things, and suppress and deny, and keep it as part of the shadow, it festers. It's not healthy. So to bring it out into the light and make it transparent and have a conversation about it is one of the best ways that we can be empowered to be healthy.
Yeah, obviously, that's why all masters, regardless of what discipline they come from, they say sex is the biggest problem in the world. Because of the aspect that it's a drive. Yeah. And the mere fact that it goes right from the very crude application right up to the highest spiritual realization. That drive goes all the way right from the bottom, from the absolutely low level animal sex, from the animal bond right up to the top, to the highest spiritual realization. That drive is presence all the way through. So if we understand, so in order to grow spiritually, in order to grow cosmically, in order to have a compassionate attitude towards life, we got to get the drive in order. That's why it's a fundamental training in Tai Chi, a fundamental training in the Kung Fu, it's a fundamental training in Buddhist in the Buddhist philosophy. So you can't get into the spiritual path without knowing how to work with that drive first. Yeah. And so,
sorry, can I just clarify that? So, because I've studied Tai Chi and bits of Tai Chi and Kung Fu, definitely only a small amount compared to yourself and a lot of other people. But are you saying that when you really study Tai Chi and Kung Fu, that there's actually a lot of sexual training in that?
Yeah, it's all the time. When you study under the masters, they talk about sex all the time. Absolutely, it needs to be addressed. Because the connection between the Qi that you develop through the Tai Chi and the Qi doing sexuality, it's the same Qi.
I need to get a better master, obviously.
If you know how to work,
I need to get a better master, obviously.
One can impact on the other. So if you don't understand how to work with your sex drive, and you study Tai Chi and Kung Fu, and you abuse the sex drive, it will hinder your practice. The more you understand how to evolve your sex drive, moving it up, transforming it, etc., understanding what it is, the more it improves your practice. So in order to talk about Tai Chi, we have to talk about sex.
Yeah, great.
In order to, like my first lesson when I entered, I'll never forget that, in 1988 when I entered my first dojo for my Tai Chi training. And I was a bit of a yang dude in those days. Party up, live it up, you know, just completely just go for whatever the impulse was, I acted on. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And so with the rebel, etc. So when I entered my first Tai Chi class, the teacher straight away said, "Okay, you about the guys in the room, you need to stop ejaculating for a while. No more ejaculation." And I said, "Oh, this is it. I'm out of here."
Yeah, that's boring. That sounds like, yeah, celibacy. Yeah.
So obviously, what that meant is you've got to understand that there's a connection between what you develop in Tai Chi with it, what we call Jing, and the power distribution of that and the power release of that Jing is the Fa Jing, bang, the explosive power.
Yeah.
And then directly connected to the testicles and directly connected to ejaculation, to sperm. So as the Tai Chi rises the Yang and rises the Jing, that means the sex drive goes higher. At the same time, we need to understand how to maintain the Jing stimulation of not get into excessive ejaculation. So we need to understand how to ejaculate or when to ejaculate. And with women, it's with the female practitioners, we're exactly under the same instructions too, because as they were doing the Tai Chi, the sex drive went up. And then I needed to understand how to work with with sex so that they could utilize the practice by working with sex. So it impacts on both parties.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to sexuality and what I mentioned a little bit last week, sex depends on the minister fire. It depends on kidney chi. So if you have a healthy appetite, sexual appetite, it means your kidney chi is good.
Hmm.
If you don't have a healthy sex appetite, that means your kidney chi is low.
Yep.
So that means in Chinese medicine, having a healthy sexual appetite is a sign of health.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's perfect. That ties in with one of the questions we've got in the Facebook group, the Facebook Live at the moment. Tammy says, my boyfriend's 58, lost his mojo in this area. Anything I can get him to eat other than oysters? You know, lots of laughs. And thank you so much, Tammy, for asking that question, because it's a common problem, but there's more to it than just eating a particular food. And in the previous calls, like the sex part 1 and the relationships part, the movie, sorry, the interview prior to that, sorry, Siri's just starting to talk to me. Phones are highly intelligent now. I'd really encourage you to watch those, Tammy, and even the previous ones, because we talked a lot about food, mental states, emotional states, the ability to connect, which is all a part of this building of the kidney chi. We keep coming back to kidney chi a lot because it's such a foundational part of health. Yeah, Jost?
Yeah, it's just, so this is the catch side of it. Like health is a result, health equals good sexual appetite. And that's age long, that goes right up to your old age. So Tai Chi masters, Tai Chi practitioners at 90 years of age still have sex. Yeah, and so when I talk to my Tai Chi upline, some of them are right in the late 80s, they still have their regular sexual activity.
Mm.
So when you meet them, they are full of beans, literally they're full of beans, they're full of vitality. And that means the appetite remains the same. The problem is, as you rise that, this is where it's like a double-edged sword. As you rise the kidney yang or the kidney chi, the danger is obviously to abuse it.
Yeah.
And obviously that's why we need to understand. Because when you get into, for example, a lot of the yang martial art, if I get someone who is not sexually active and or is responsive and not interested, I say, look, get into martial art training, you will get sexually active very, very quickly. Because you're focusing so much on the yang. And as you bring up, that's for women and men.
Yeah.
Like kickboxing, it just brings up the kidney, the minister fire, because when you go into fighting, you bring up the fire comes from your prenatal Jing, and that's directly connected to your kidney. So you can't get into this kind of training and not having a sexual appetite. But then obviously the danger comes to abuse it, because then if you abuse it, then so you're rising the practice up, your Jing goes up, and if you abuse it, it puts it back down again.
Yep. So it's like maintaining that level of Jing.
Yeah, that's the key element, is to understand how to work with text.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, so it doesn't mean, sexual appetite doesn't mean we're going to have sex every day.
Yeah. And we talked about those schedules last week, actually, didn't we? So 20 to 30, 4 to 5 times a week. And this is males. Male, 35 to 45, 2 to 3 times, 50 to 60, 1 to 2 times, over 60 once a week. It's a rough number.
The appropriate sexual, in order to have a help, this is very important now, because sexual appetite, if it's appropriate sexual appetite or unhealthy sexual appetite. Yeah. So this is obviously where Chinese medicine differs between an unhealthy sexual appetite and a healthy sexual appetite. And whenever it comes about sex, it's always about qi flow, blood, and balance of yin and yang. So this is the foundation of a healthy sex life, is the ability to make a qi flow, the ability to have strong blood, and the ability to balance yin and yang. If that's not the case, it will now cause all kind of other disruptions, and I'm going to talk about it in a minute. So in order to, like, when someone expresses lack of sexual interest, and which is in Chinese medicine not a good sign. So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to look at how to build the blood. Yeah. So if women after childbirth don't have sexual appetite, and then that can cause stress in the relationship. So obviously, of course, as we talked last week about it, you do need a period of a time of not being sexually active in order to give care for the baby, in order to prevent like instant pregnancy again, because first of all, the body needs to rebuild itself. Yeah. But we can speed this up, and we speed this up by working with blood building herbs. So everyone, in order to have healthy sexuality, we need to work with herbs. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No, so healthy sexuality depends on healthy blood, strong blood, and strong kidney. So if that's in place, you have the foundation for it. Like, for example, if someone says, she's a hot-blooded woman, what it means is the blood is very healthy. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a cold person. I've married a cold person. I hear this very often. I'm married a cold woman. Like, my partner is very cold when it comes to sex. That means blood is deficient.
Yeah.
As you build the energy in the blood, you develop the heat in the blood. That's what it is. You develop heat. And that then leads to sexual stimulus. And strong blood is the same as like the octane in petrol. You can have ordinary petrol, and you can have, which has maybe 75% octane, but then you can have petrol for race cars, which has 105, 106% octane. When you buy a Ferrari, when you drive a Ferrari, you only can use petrol that has got at least 100% octane. You have to, you can't put ordinary petrol into those cars.
Yep.
That's what Chinese medicine looks at: healthy blood, lots of octane. That means there's energy in the blood, rather than there's no energy in the blood.
Yep.
Blood deficiency can't get diagnosed at the blood bank. You can't just take the blood to a Western and get diagnosed. It will not come up. It's an energetic quality. It's heat pattern, and it's that heat pattern is of yang. So when a woman gives birth, that yang goes away. That means the octane level in the blood drops from 105% to say 50%.
Mm.
So that means the car is not really running at peak performance. So therefore in Chinese medicine, we need lots of herbs. The problem with that is, if we don't understand that, it can cause emotionality such as guilt.
Yeah.
Something is wrong with me.
Yeah.
And that's the key element to understand that when it comes to sexuality, it's really all about the energetics. There's nothing wrong as such. So when someone has a sexual desire, it's good. If there's no sexual desire, it's because the blood's deficient.
Yeah.
So we need to understand that when it comes to sex, we're going to look at it as very simply as from a medical perspective, rather than putting ethical views on that.
Yeah. Take the judgment out of it. And that's where you come back to those basics for the relationship too, about calming the mind, calming the emotions, enhancing your digestion of food, build the chi up inside internally, the ability to reduce stress, and then being clear about ourselves and about our partner so that we can relate appropriately. That's why we did these videos in this order for people that are watching. We did the relationship one and then sex part one, sex part two, because a lot of what we're talking about is built on those foundations. So I hope, Tammy, you go back and you watch some of those. I think it's really going to help you in what you're talking about there. Just another question Tammy had. She said she was told that reaching climax as having the big O boosts your immunity hugely. And obviously she's frustrated with the situation with a boyfriend who's sort of lost interest, lost mojo. If it does happen, it's only very short. So obviously she's finding that frustrating that there's not a lasting intimacy on a daily basis. Is that? Do you want to comment about that as the big O being good for immunity?
Yes, of course. Okay, what happens is, in order for it to be good for immunity, it needs first of all to have the healthy kidney chi. So that yang, that yang in the kidney rises when sexual stimulation takes place. The yang rises to a certain peak and then expresses itself. It releases yang chi, and that yang chi makes the chi flow, liver chi flow. And as the liver chi flows, because the kidney that generates the release of the yang chi communicates with the lung. So there's a connection between the kidneys and the lungs. And in orgasm, what happens is that it now communicates to the lung, the chi flows freely in that moment. In that moment, it receives fresh chi from the cosmic. So because it enters via the lung meridian, it enhances the immunity. Absolutely.
Yeah, great. And
so,
sorry.
This is when someone abuses sexuality and does it too much, it depletes immunity.
Yeah.
Because it communicates from kidney to lung. So we need to understand exactly when is the right time to sexually engage in order for them to bring the yang up, to release the yang chi, so that the lungs can bring the cosmic chi. So then it enhances the immunity. So it depends, obviously, on individuals' constitution.
Yep.
So if someone's constitution is, say, 8 out of 10 in terms of kidney jing or kidney fire, the minister of fire, that means the sexual desire, in order to reach the peak, in order for the lung to flush beneficially, might be every second day. So if someone's constitution is 2 out of 10, which is the opposite, then then the need to culminate and then release the lung chi into the system to enhance immunity would be maybe once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So first of all, if we have a relationship about that situation, the idea is not first of all to look, okay, well, where's the deficiency pattern here in the partner who is not interested?
Yeah.
We're going to look at the deficiency pattern. That's one. Yeah, and so in females, it's very obvious. It's via blood. So in males, it's via kidney chi. So that means the male is not interested in sex because kidney chi is low. That's all what it is.
And that'll be related to not being able to go for long as well, not to be able to perform sex for a very long time as well, because the kidney chi is so deficient.
Yeah, premature ejaculation is a result of not having strong yang.
Yeah.
If the yang is weak, it can't maintain the erection. It can't maintain the fire. It collapses and crashes. That's the same erectile dysfunction, where the erection is only 50% rather than all the way through.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of yang.
we've talked about a lot of things that can help that. Obviously, really good food, lots of spices and seeds and all that sort of stuff. But also the major four herbs, that would be good for that, I imagine.
Oh,
Then your well-being as well would be great for that. And to my surprise, so I was on an escalator and with Nicole at a convention back in 2015, I think it was, in America. And this is in regards to the Redox products and how they can help with this. And this lovely couple, they looked like they were country bumpkins, you know. They turned around to us, and they that must have been 70, I reckon. And they're like, "Oh yeah, and that gel, it's really good in the bedroom, does wonders." And scientifically, it does increase blood flow by 49% in 15 minutes, right? So, and it can go anywhere your fingers can reach. So that can be a good fun tool as well. That should be kept in the bedroom. But also the other thing is the liquid redox. I was just having a conversation with a young guy last night, super fit, super healthy, and he was actually saying what he does. He has a couple of capsules of the Life Max product, the orange nutritional product, which has got cordyceps and it's got mushrooms and different like more anti-aging sort of stuff in it, and a shot of ASEA prior to having sex, and he reckons that's like next level. Like he's loving it. So
yeah. The cordyceps, the mushrooms are incredibly powerful for sexual function because that's what the mushrooms go directly to the kidney. And obviously, redox signaling the redox is all about the chi flow.
yeah,
So the liquid and the renew is all about the chi flow, which is blood flow. So, which I said, a sexual appetite depends on chi flow, blood, balance of yin and yang. So it's a chi flow. So and that's where redox signaling is crucial. It's like, I totally agree with that in terms of fixing up sexual problems. I've seen this over and over in people who work with redox, how it suddenly rectifies the situation. And because when it comes to redox signaling, it's about chi flow, it's mitochondria. And so mitochondria is a bit of a mystery. No one knows exactly what's going on here. In Chinese medicine, its spleen, it receives its energy from the universe. And the universe is infinite energy supply. So if you connect to the infinite energy supply, which is what redox does, you will repair lack of sexual drive. Absolutely, yeah. But another aspect is also obviously in men, when they lose sexual drive, is because they don't understand how to work with their yin and their yang.
Yeah.
And so that means that they're experiencing a rise of the yang without having the relevant yin, and that can lead to frustration. So what happens is they do have the sexual appetite, but if it's not expressed in a healthy condition, or in an appropriate condition, it can cause frustration, and the frustration then leads to resentment, and then it moves. The male will actually move away from being interested in the female. So this is where it all comes down to the one thing that, as a male and we both men and women need to learn how to practice, because it's about the yin and the yang. So the problem is what we're having is because the sex drive we can't ignore. So if it doesn't find an appropriate outlet, it always will cause heat and liver stagnation. And that then will now cause inappropriate behavior patterns. So these inappropriate behavior patterns always then suddenly causing an impulse for people to start affairs, the people get caught up in porn and in fetishes. So this is where, because porn addiction is now a major issue. And I treat a lot of relationship in a lot of couples where one partner has withdrawn sexually because they are completely drawn into caught up in internet porn. Yes. So internet porn is like, porn is now available on the press of a button as never before. Like in the old days, you had to go to the news agency and then employ someone to buy you the latest black label pen towels. They had to actually get a magazine, and so for porn, or so these days everyone has a smartphone, so it's just bang straight in.
Yeah.
But it's not the porn as such. It's not the sexual images which is the problem. The problem with porn addiction is the sexual activity that they demonstrate. Because when you go into websites like Pornhub.com or RedTube.com, they're the biggest websites with, I think, like 1 billion hits a day or something, or maybe 2 billion.
Statistics are mind blowing.
It's incredible, yeah. And and it's half women, half men, yeah. And but when you go on there, it's actually not about normal sex anymore. If you would have a video up there of a loving sexual encounter, a beautiful sexual encounter, you wouldn't get any hits. Yeah. So the weirder the sex, the more hits you get. So obviously, people are now presenting sexual images of the weirdest possible image. Why that? It's because people's yin and yang has now moved up to a level where they don't find the balance within themselves. And if yin and yang aren't balanced, that means you've got an unhealthy impulse under the drive. If yin and yang are not balanced, that means the drive has got a distorted impulse. So the drive depends on fire and fuel. So yin and yang need to be balanced. If yin and yang not balanced, what happens is now the drive, instead of taking it all the way up towards the spiritual evolution, what happens is the drive now takes it off the path into a different direction. So if yin and yang are not balanced, and now the imbalance goes into the drive, it will cause a distortion and it will take the drive elsewhere. If yin and yang are balanced, what happens is it will fuel the drive to evolve spiritually for well-being. So, like if you look at those porn sites, the videos are looking at feeding the demand for an imbalance in yin and yang. Yeah. And so because we experiencing such an imbalance of yin and yang all over the world, and to express that imbalance in a relationship where you can't bring this forward because you've been with a partner for a while and you can't express it on that level, you need to find it via porn. And then on porn, you will find suddenly, oh, this meets my needs. It's exactly in line. But I can't bring that into the relationship because it's too weird. Yeah. But then when I'm in there and engage myself with that sexual activity, and if I then climax, if I ejaculate or orgasm in men or women, what happens now? The energetics that I'm engaging with now will enter via the lung meridian. Because lung means receive. Orgasm means sexual activity means, first of all, the stimulation of the yang. And then the yang qi expresses itself by releasing itself, but that's in conjunction with the lung. That means it receives from above to go in. So if I have an imbalanced yin and yang condition and then distort the drive and then fuel that drive via an imbalance of yin and yang, and then when I orgasm, that means I receive the energetics of what I'm engaging with. And so that energetic afterwards doesn't feel good. So that causes guilt and shame for the time being. But then the imbalance is now fueled by having the energetics engaged. And now it causes more heat pattern. The heat pattern now stimulates more the development of the yang in the kidney. And now I need to engage with another weird activity. And then same situation again. I orgasm, I ejaculate, boom, everything collapses. I receive the energy. I feel guilt and shame. I don't want to do this again. But it brews. So this is one of the big problems we have now.
Yeah, and just a negative cycle, just like too much coffee or too many uppers or too many downers. You just get this cycle, right?
More and more. And if that's one partner in the relationship does that like that, that partner will withdraw from the other partner because the sex is not on common ground anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a real issue, and because if that's not addressed, it can it will cause like a pathological cycle. And
so coming back to the foundation of like, you know, good health and good relationship, I know like some of the things that I do with Nicole, my wife, and we've been together, feels like forever, nearly more than my half my lifetime in a couple of years, actually, right? Which is awesome, right? It's quite an achievement, I reckon. But, you know, doing things like we go for a walk together, or we do yoga together, or I know the times in my life where we did a lot of Tai Chi, Qigong together, yoga together, did a lot of activities and recreation together. I felt like there was a much better balance of yin and yang, and that kidney chi strength, and cooking together and all of that sort of stuff. That created a lot more kind of chemistry when we had that lifestyle more in balance. But maybe that's something like Tammy's questions and so forth. And if there's other people out there that have got questions like that, it's like, how do you work with a partner to sort of regain their sexual balance and regain their sexual health? Yes, the herbs, redox, the diet, all that's important, but the activities are really important too. Yeah, like to bring back that foundation.
Yeah, that's obviously, that's where you would call, that's where soulmates coming into the play. Yeah. That's obviously. I mean, we could talk about porn addiction for the next 2 weeks, and we wouldn't. It's such a huge subject. But if you go into what generates a healthy relationship, it would what we would call a soulmate relationship. Soulmates, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Chinese, obviously, the word soulmates is a big word, but Chinese medicine, once again, actually has got lots to say about it, what it really means. Because when the fact is, if there's a soulmate relationship, you actually have automatically the basis, the foundation for a healthy sexual relationship for age. Yeah. Mm. And because in Chinese medicine, soul is hun, and it's related, it's housed in the liver, and the soul, the hun, it got its own agenda. It got its own life. It got its own direction. Mm. It's independent of the mind. Mm. It's independent of what we think, independent of what we expect. It's the soul, or the hun in Chinese medicine, has got an independent life. And so when soulmates gather, when people come together with a soulmate, there's something independent of the mind that now comes in play. That you can't project it. You can't project a happy relationship. It's because the happy relationship is a result of, first of all, that there's a soul connection. Mm. And the soul connection is not within the range of the mind. It's got its own agenda, according to Chinese medicine.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I remember when I was like in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, and I'm like pondering with this idea of like, what is being in love? What does that actually mean to me? And the best definition I could come up with was there are some things I would love about a person. But when it got to a point where I couldn't consciously comprehend all of those individual things, that there was something else that was beyond the mind, that I just had that attraction, that was being in love. Now you've just given me, it's a different reference to understand that. So that's my hun in my liver that's driving that.
Yeah. That's just it. So that means it's all we can say is what the Chinese medicine said: the soul, or the hun, is independent of the mind, got its own life. So, which is why when soulmates meet, qi gathers. Mm. That's the initial attraction. That like qi gather. When soulmates meet, that means when two partners meet who are connected via soul level, what it means is it gathers qi. Qi is gathered. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that gathering of the qi guarantees to have sexual attraction for life. Mm. Mm. So you need to have the soul connection in order to be interested in a partner for life. Mm. Because what happens now, it's something outside the predictability of the mind.
Yeah.
It's outside the predictability. You can't rationalize a relationship.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah, Nikki just said so true for her and a partner. They never would have met through a dating algorithm because they're so different.
Yeah.
And same with Nicole and I. We're so opposite in some ways, and yet that's great. And this gathering the chi with like healthy couples, I love being around couples that are really into each other. It's just such a fun vibe to be around, you know, like it's sexy, it's fun, and like I'm not involved with their stuff, but it's like it's just cool to be around it. It's got a lot of vitality to it.
That's passion. When soulmates meet, together, it's passion.
Yeah.
So the idea is now but you can't work directly with that. If you go linearly directly onto that, you will chase it because it's outside the reach of the mind. So it needs something else with that. Yes. And so that's where, because when we look at what is Hun or the soul in Chinese medicine, it's first of all, it's about dreams and ideas. Soul is about dreams and ideas. I'd rather call it Hun from now, Hun, if you want to type it in there. That's probably better because Chinese, otherwise we go too much into other territory here.
Hun?
Hun. So yeah, that's it, yeah. That's the ethereal soul. That's your infinite, that's who you are. The ethereal soul. So the Hun is responsible for dreams and ideas. It provides connection to others and movement to others. But Hun is also the movement towards plans and projects. Yeah. So when soulmates first meet, all that is triggered, dreams and ideas. I'm in love, I understand suddenly everything. When you're in love, you got high intuitive understanding. So movement and connection to others. When you're in love, you connect to others. You want to move towards others. You want to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
It's activated. Yeah.
Yeah.
You go in the shop and you want to talk to everyone. How you going, mate? Oh, how you feel? You're in love. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
very playful energy. You've often told me about how the masters that you've studied under, even though they might be 80, they're still playful, like childlike, and that's the beautiful element of being in a relationship too, is like that playfulness.
Yeah. And that's why when you meet your soulmate, you talk about all kinds of plans and projects.
Yeah. Dreaming of the future.
Yeah, you just get something. Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Like when two people meet on soul level, they discuss all kinds of ideas they want to do. Like endless. They're together for weeks on end. They talk about the things they're gonna do. So that's Hun. That is Hun. That's a soul. Yeah, and so that means there's always something is happening. Yeah, something is happening.
Yeah.
So when it comes to maintaining a happy a passionate relationship, it needs to cultivate Hun.
Yeah.
So we're going to look into, okay, what does it all mean? And that means, okay, we're going to constantly cultivate and nourish our dreams and ideas. We've got to keep moving towards dreams and ideas. So in my line of work, where I work with all kind of couples all over for all these decades, what makes the relationship highly passionate if the couple works together of moving towards dreams and ideas. If you keep moving towards your dreams and ideas, you have also sexual passion. Yeah. Obviously, in line if blood is taken care of, if chi flow is taken care of, obviously they're the foundation. Yeah. So if the foundation for healthy sexuality is in place, blood, chi flow, kidney chi, balance of yin and yang, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
what Chinese medicine is trying to say. So you can have a good qi flow, healthy blood, and a very balanced yin and yang, but you're not sexually attracted to your partner.
Mm.
And so it's not about just being hot-blooded and having a balance of yin and yang and a good. So in order to be sexually attracted, this is why where spirituality and sexuality is intertwined. In order to evolve it to the highest level, we need to work with the soul connection. And the soul connection means I now need to engage for the rest of my life with that person by keep moving towards your dreams and your projects and your ideas.
Yeah, yeah, I love that, and I know that's why, you know, Nicole and I have had such a strong connection from high school, because we share values, we share ideas and ideals. You know, what we want long term is very congruent, even though how we get there is totally different. That makes it interesting, but the values are shared, the vision is shared.
Yes, you've got to keep moving towards it. That's the key. The key is we never get there anyway. Like the goal never, it's the horizon. And so just in Chinese medicine, the masters speak like that, is that with the goal we keep moving towards, and when we die, bang, we just keep moving towards on the other side, and then we go back in the body, we keep moving towards.
Yeah, yeah, I find that with goals is like once you achieve a goal, your mind opens up to the next goal. It's even bigger, and it's just like this continual journey. It's awesome.
And that's why we don't retire. In Chinese medicine, there's not such a thing as retirement.
Yeah, I agree.
When your sexual passion will go down, obviously, all considering that blood is good, qi flow is good, yin and yang is balanced. What makes passion collapse in a relationship is when they meet on soul level initially, and then have all the ideas and express it, and they get married, and then after a few years they stop working on the ideas. So now the soul is coming outside the equation. The soul is not present anymore. And now you can't have healthy sexuality, because when soulmates meet, qi gathers, but now you don't have the gathering of the qi, and that means no spark in your bedroom.
Mm.
So the moment the relationship stop working towards the goal that attracted them together and the ideas they were working on, now they're giving up on it because there's too many other things happening. I see this on a regular basis. Like people present with lack of sexual passion, and then you build the blood, you build the kidney, but and you do the practice, but still something's lacking and it's still not working, because simply when they met initially, they had lots of ideas, and then follow up on the ideas. So so suddenly the children came in between, then the mundane life took over.
Yeah, they forgot to.
Caught up in the.
I call just a little bit of a play on words, but recreation time is recreation time. You know, and that's one thing that Nicole and I do. We deliberately schedule time, and also like make sure that we've got someone to take care of Joy, like the little lady now. But we've done it for years. We schedule time where we go away and we talk about, you know, what we want to do. What are our goals, short term, long term, medium term, and how we're going to get there. And I think this is a really important part, because for me, when I hear Nicole talk about what she wants to do and her goals and what her vision is, it actually builds respect for her. Like I feel a lot more respect for her, and when I see her working towards that, there's a respect there that is like attractive as well. And I suspect that, you know, maybe that's a conversation that's lacking in a lot of people's relationships about, you know, what it is they're trying to achieve and how they're supporting each other in order to achieve it. Because there's got to be give and flow with that as well.
Yeah, just to not to resign to your dreams. When you give up on your dreams, the fire goes down.
Yeah. If you're not growing, you're dying. You're going backwards. You got to be growing.
It's regardless of what happens. Like, don't get caught up in the mundane world. If you like, Chinese medicine is very direct about it and says, if you want a happy sex life for the rest of your life into old age, don't give up on your dreams.
Yeah.
Don't give up on your ideas. And that's a major problem. A lot of people either don't know their dreams, but when they meet, they have all kind of ideas. And when they then get married, they suddenly lose perspective and connection to the dreams. And if you lose the connection to the dreams, the fire will go down. That's how it is. So don't, like, the idea is not to get complacent into mundane life and always live uncomfortable. That's how the Chinese would say. Always live on the edge. Like my wife and me, we are together 26 years, and our passion is like teenagers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well done.
But we always live on the edge. We're always on the edge. So we both are in the 60s now, but we wouldn't give in to mundane lifestyle. We're always on the edge. We always just risk all the time. We always go out there, risk this, do this. Let's risk that. Let's do this. Let's do it. And then it's, oh shit, what are we get involved with?
Yeah.
We just keep going. And that incredible struggle that you just work with, it just feeds the fire, the minister fire. And then suddenly, oh, we're going to have sex.
Yeah, fantastic.
Just bang, and then you're just back into struggle mode and like, fight, let's get this going. And then bang, the minister fire comes forward again. Time for the bedroom.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love that about you, Jost. You're so playful. You remind us of like that, the inner child qualities, and yet you're also a bundle of wisdom, and always a joy to be around. So it's been gold again today. I hope everyone's really enjoyed some of the content that we've covered, and that's giving a different perspective on a challenge that a lot of people are going through in the world, and particularly those that are locked up with their partners right now. Maybe this is something you could work on together. Do a bit of conversation about your goals and dreams and what you're moving towards. Make a plan and build some of that passion up again. I'm going to put your links in into the bottom there. So these are just some of the topics that we've talked about. They'll put in the chat box if you want to go to Jost's website and grab his book, Clock on the Health. It's amazing. As well as you can get the major 4 herbs there, the Redox. Talk to the person that invited you to come onto the call today, or invited you into the Renew with Redox Facebook group. If you want to join that Facebook group, you can have a look at all of the videos. They're all in a unit there, so it's easy to find them these days. And yeah, and actually, this is the last week we'll be doing it at 10 a.m. on a Thursday. You're right to move to 12 p.m. next week, Jost?
Okay.
Yep, champion. So we're going to move this call to 12 p.m. as of next Thursday. That way people that are at work, they can join us at lunchtime, that sort of thing. So that will be on the flyer. But yeah, please change your schedule. 12 p.m. every Thursday, we're going to continue these interviews. Any other last words or nuggets of wisdom, Jost?
Yeah, don't give up on your dreams. Rule number 1. If you obviously, it all comes down to nourish your liver, nourish your kidneys, build your chi, have lots of herbs and acupuncture, study Tai Chi and yoga, and then follow your dreams, and you're going to have a happy sex life for life.
Yeah, fantastic. Who doesn't want that? Awesome, Jost. You're amazing. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on these calls. You have a great week. We'll catch you next week, 12 o'clock, same channel. Bye for now.
Bye.